Right, hiya and welcome back to my channel. I said in my last video, and I ended it with the fact that I did a documentary on asexuality, and I did 2 days of filming with the BBC, which is like the largest broadcast company here in the UK, and I pulled out of it. And there was people asking me on Snapchat and stuff like that just why this happened, and I said I'll do a video on it, and so here it is. 2.5 years ago, I got approached by a guy from the BBC. I won't say his name or anything, in case. But I got approached by a guy from the BBC after seeing my videos, and he said he had seen my videos, and he was wondering whether I'd be alright with taking part in a documentary on asexuality. I was like, yeah, it's great. And this was 2.5 years ago. This was November 2015, and I was just like, yeah, that sounds fantastic. And we messaged back and forth. We even had phone calls, and he, phoned me and asked about my experiences and stuff like that. He'd seen my videos, and he really wanted to cast me on a documentary about asexuality and my experiences of it. So I was really excited, as you can expect, and we messaged back and forth, and over Christmas as well in 2015, and then briefly into the new year, I believe, and then it sort of just fizzled out. It fizzled out for ages, and I was pretty gutted because I knew that this would be like the biggest publicity I'd ever get, because it's for the BBC. It's the biggest company, so I just thought of it as a good opportunity to promote asexual, or not promote, but spread awareness about asexuality, and get people who watch TV to see it, and see me as an asexual person, and see what asexuality is really about, and get a real understanding of it, rather than create prejudice and just assume what asexuality is. So I thought it would be really great. So obviously I was gutted that fell through. Bring it back to last year, and I believe it was September last year, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But I got approached again by the same guy, and he had a phone call with me again, and he's just like, I'm sorry that fell through, blah, 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 asked what I was up to, said that a new documentary is going to be starting, and that they're wanting to film people for it. And I was like, oh, that's great. And he's just like, right, I'm going to link you onto my colleague who's going to be the producer of the show, and we'll go from there. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening again. And this was September last year. And then I spoke to his colleague, and we had Skype calls, which was sort of it wasn't really like an interview process, but it was sort of she would record the Skype call, and then it would be passed on to the production team, and just to see whether I was alright for the role and whether I'd be alright for filming. And they liked me. They liked what I had to offer, and they wanted to film me for the thing, so that was great. And it was I had to talk about dating experiences as an asexual, and how it affected me, and how dating was different, and how it was harder, and my experiences with girls and stuff like that, and how it, being asexual influenced how I dated, etc. And yeah, I said all that on Skype calls, on phone calls, stuff like that. And I was going to be part of this documentary. A spanner came into the works on my part. In November of last year, I found someone, and I found, I got a girlfriend in November of last year. And obviously we're speaking about, I was speaking about dating and stuff like that, and girls I look for and stuff like that. So obviously I told the producer, I've got a girlfriend now. I'm not single or anything like that. So just to see if that was an okay thing, And they were like, oh, yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. We can film both of you if you want, because my girlfriend at the time was asexual too. So it's just yeah, if she's happy to film as well, we'd love to have both of you on the documentary. I was like, that's fantastic. It's the best response I could have asked for. So I let my girlfriend know and asked if she was alright with it, and she was happy to film and everything like that. So all was going swimmingly, and it was all perfect. And then it sort of lost contact again over Christmas. It just didn't. There was no contact or anything like that. Just nothing between us. And I thought it fell through again, just like the initial one. And then come January, I broke up with my girlfriend because of we just broke up. And obviously I just thought the program had fell through. I thought the documentary had fell through. And so I got a message from the producer again, who said, yeah, Alex, are you and your girlfriend still all right for filming and stuff like that? We're hoping to come down in the next few weeks. I was just like, what? This is very sudden. I didn't realise this was still happening. So I messaged her back, and I was just like, unfortunately, me and my girlfriend have broken up. And she was like, oh, right, I'm really sorry to hear that. It's really gutting to hear and stuff like that. And obviously, I was honest. I said why, etc. And she goes, if you're still all right to film, we'd be happy to film with you. And I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Because she was saying, like, obviously talking about relationships and stuff like that just after I'd broken up with my girlfriend, and obviously talking about experiences, talking about what I saw in other girls and stuff like that, what I liked about other girls. It may be hard. But obviously it was still in my mind, for 2.5 years, I wanted to be, I thought I was going to be part of this documentary and, be able to, like, put asexuality on, like, a platform that's able to be seen by everyone. And, just on such, it's just the publicity that I always wanted from my videos. Obviously I never expected my videos to do as well as they do today anyway. I mean, when I first started out, I literally just did it just to get my word out there and just to see if there was anyone like me. I never expected to have followers through this, but obviously I want asexuality to be more known, and I want minority sexualities to have more of a recognition amongst, nationally as well as internationally. And so, with the BBC being a platform, that's exactly what I want to achieve. So of course I was still wanting to be part of this, and I thought that I could get my word across quite well. And obviously I just thought I thought it was talking about relationships and stuff like that. Now, they came down to film me, like 3 weeks after this conversation. So not long after I broke up with my girlfriend at all. Me and my girlfriend were still friends. Me and my ex were still friends, and we still spoke a lot at this time. We don't speak anymore, but that's a story for a different day. But we were still friends at this time after we broke up. And, she knew I was filming still, and I filmed with the BBC, and they came down to me, which was cool. It was very convenient, seeing I work most days, so, it would have been hard for me to, go out country, go to Manchester or wherever. And so, yeah, that was really convenient. And they filmed me. And one of the first, I keep saying and, sorry. One of the first questions they asked me was, so, they were quick to film as well. I mean, like, they came down here and we started filming almost immediately. Obviously I got them introduced to this area, offered them a drink, stuff like that, and then we went down, and they came down quite late on in the evening on the first day, and then we had the whole of the next day to film. And then, so they came down in the evening, and we went to a really pretty part of where I live to film initially, and one of the first questions that they asked was, so Alex, are you looking for a relationship? And I answered honestly. I was just like, no, not right now. I mean, I've only been broken up with my girlfriend for a few weeks. And the producer just said, no, you can't have that. This program's going to be about dating. So you need to be sort of looking for a relationship. And I, again, I still thought it was just talking about relationships. I still thought it was just, what I wanted to the girl. So I understood, and I thought, like, that I thought it was just me talking, they needed me to say that I was looking for a relationship to make it seem like it's, like, talk about girls that I'm interested in. So I was like, I went along with it. I was just like, that's fine. I'm not going to make you come down here 6 hours just to, throw you back on, like, the first question. So I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm looking for a relationship. But still, it didn't feel right to me because, I mean, I wasn't being honest. And if this was going to be, like, the biggest, recognition that I'd ever get, and, like, biggest publicity that I would ever get as an asexual, as well as me personally, then I didn't want it to be lie. I didn't want to lie, and I didn't want it to be fake. So already alarm bells were ringing, just like, this isn't right, Alex. This isn't right. But I just didn't want to say something. I don't want to do this because I didn't realise that you wanted me to say stuff like that. Because obviously they travelled for like 6 hours or 8 hours. That I didn't want to say, no, I'm not happy with this because it's a bit off, and I would have felt very, very guilty. And then the next day, we started filming, and they filmed a segment with my mum initially, and my mum was very, very nervous to film it, and she kept saying, oh, what am I going to say, what am I going to say? Understandably, it's on camera, it's going to be broadcast on the BBC, so I completely understood it, and I was very nervous too. And and they filmed my mum, and she did segments, and after they filmed my mum, they said, "Oh, you have to come and film with us next time when we come down next time." And I'm like, "What the hell? Wait, this is like an ongoing thing." I had no idea. Again, I had no idea, but I didn't realise that they were coming. I thought it was just going to be a one-time thing, like filming like a few segments of me, just, you know, talking about my experiences of dating in the past, and then like what I'm looking for in a girl. And then suddenly after that, I realised that wasn't it at all. And they explained to me, they was just like, "Oh, it's actually we're filming your dating journey, and we're, you know, filming your dating." You know, they wanted to film me going on dates with people, and then like telling them that I was asexual, sort of thing, whilst filming as well. And obviously, it took me aback. I had no idea. I had no idea whatsoever. And one of the first things that they got me to do, they got me to think of ways that I could get dates, sort of thing, but find dates that weren't knowing that I was asexual, basically. So I couldn't obviously say on YouTube, like, "Hey, come and date me," because obviously everyone here knows that I'm asexual. So like, that wouldn't work. So I had to like create a dating app. They filmed me creating a dating app. They filmed me making a profile for that and swiping to girls, etc. And, you know, obviously this went on for a while, and I realised that they filmed me like for segments as well, like explaining my asexuality, but I realised this was just a dating journey and it's just something that I didn't want to take part of. So they went after that day of filming, and I had a big think about it, and I spoke to my family about it. I was just like, this isn't something, and I spoke to my friends about it as well, just like, this isn't it, like, this isn't what I thought. And obviously, you know, to even find, like, I didn't want to, like I said honestly to the camera when they first started filming, I didn't want to find a relationship at that time. I didn't want to find a date because I just got out of a relationship, and I had no idea. I had no idea that this was going to be the case. And, you know, maybe it was just a misunderstanding or something on one of our parts, but it definitely took me back. You know, it was definitely a shock to me and definitely a surprise. I thought it was just talking about that. And so I said to them, I emailed them, and obviously, like, think how hard this would be, by the way. Obviously, the situation was, I wasn't wanting to find a date. I would have to find a date through a dating app, which is, I mean, I live in a small town. You know, there's not many people around, let alone people that want to date me. But, like, and then I'd also have to tell the date, before we go on the date, "Hey, are you alright with being filmed?" And I'm like, what the hell? Like, on the first date, like, I know we're going to go on a first date, it's going to be really nice, but it's alright, the BBC film you. Can't say why, I can't say because I'm asexual yet, I have to come out as that soon, but I have to say, the BBC will be filming you. I can't say why. It will obviously put a lot of people off. So obviously, you know, this was making me, there was a lot of pressure on me, and I was feeling very stressed about it, and they kept, you know, they phoned me just like, "Oh, when can we come down? You know, have you got any news? Have you got any dates set up?" And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I emailed the producer back saying, I don't want to find a date. You know, there's a misunderstanding. I just don't want to find a date. I just don't right now, and I can't under these circumstances for sure. You know, it doesn't mean to say that, you know, I don't want that in the future, and even the near future. I mean, it's been like a month or so since this occurred, so like, obviously I've got over my last relationship now, and that's not a problem at all. But then, as I said, I don't even speak to my ex anymore, and but that was my experience basically, and obviously that fell through because of that. So I'm not filming for the thing anymore, but they have got 3 to 4 other people that they're filming with instead. So hopefully, you know, look forward to an asexual documentary soon. That should be exciting. I'm still excited to see it. I'm still excited to see what they produce, because obviously it is about asexuality, and it is going to be broadcast in the UK. It's going to be online for you to see, so that'll be very exciting. And, you know, once it drops, I'll be sure to, getting cramp in my leg, I'll be sure to like let you know, because, you know, I'm really excited about it, and I'm sure a lot of you will be too, you know, from the comments in my last few videos. But I won't be a part of it anymore, unfortunately. You know, I would have liked to, and obviously, you know, if there is ever an asexual documentary that just, you know, wants to speak about experiences, speak about, you know, what it's like being asexual, speak about the past and stuff like that, I'll be happy to do it. I mean, the difference between like filming videos and filming for the BBC and filming segments for the BBC, I can say whatever I want in these videos. Like, there isn't, like, I can edit it, I can upload it myself, I've got control, I've got full control. Whereas obviously it was very different in this segment. I knew it would be, but just, you know, to the extent is a bit crazy. For example, like when my mum came round, I live at my dad's house. My dad wasn't in at the time, but my mum was happy to film, so my mum came here to my dad's house, and they wanted to film a segment of me and her cooking together. Both me and my mum said we never cook together. This isn't something we do. Like, I can barely cook, despite my surname, despite my YouTube name. I can barely cook at all. And we've never cooked together. We just don't do that. And so my mum like put forward, like, you know, every time I see Alex, we play cards. We play cards together, and we always do that. And could we film that instead? But obviously they were like, no, we'd like you to be cooking something. And obviously these segments were sort of forced. You know, it's something that obviously, you know, if I wanted to have my mum here and she was happy to be filming here, she could play cards, we can play darts, we can do that. You know, I can create my own content here, whereas this was just content for them. And like, it even got to the stage, you know, like I did a segment in a really pretty part of where I live, and, you know, the producer says to me, Alex, say about, like, come up with an analogy regarding asexuality when you look out into the sea. Like, she was like, you know, and then she said an analogy herself, and I ended up using that. It wasn't words from my own head. It wasn't something I would normally say, and it was something that she said for me to say. So it felt, I'm really pleased that I pulled out of it. I really think it's a good decision. Everyone around me thinks it's a good decision as well. I had nothing against any of them. I think it's still a great production, and I think I'm really looking forward to seeing it. And they were great. They were really nice, and they were really lovely. So, you know, I would take nothing away from that, and I still enjoyed the experience, but I'm glad that that's not being broadcast now, because I'd much rather get my point across in here where I've got control over it, and I know what I'm going to say. Well, I don't 100% of the time, but I mean, like, I know pretty much what I'm going to say, and I've got control over that. Then my biggest publicity, and you know, where I'm going to be viewed the most, where I'm going to get the most views, the most attention from people, from new audiences, where I'm not saying what I want to say. I'd rather people see me for who I am here, and less people see me, for sure. So that's what another reason why I pulled out, and I'm really thankful for that, and I'm really glad I did that. So yeah, that's the whole story. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you think I've done the right thing, tell me. You know, I think I have, so hopefully you agree. Yeah, if you've got any questions about it, just let me know, and I'll answer them, and I'll speak to you very soon.